What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Who Not Do series. I'm Myckena Guerrero for GALvanize, and I am so excited to be joined here today with the one, the only, Monique Lamoureux-Morando. Now, you may know her as an Olympic hockey player and not to mention gold medalist, but I swear after listening to her today, you'll know she's so much more than that. So Monique, thank you so much for joining me here today.
It's good to be here.
So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Now, Monique, you were given this incredible platform, and I know your grandmother used to tell you, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
Incredible advice. But when did you truly understand it and really embrace that?
Joss and I had the opportunity to go to Shattuck St. Mary's, it's a boarding school in Minnesota, and we knew that if we really wanted to pursue our hockey dreams and going to the Olympics, that we were probably going to have to move away from home. And so we had the opportunity to go to a world-class school and a program that was known for the men's hockey players it had produced throughout the years. Not so much its women's players at the time, but so having that opportunity, I think when we went there, we knew that this was something that not every girl gets an opportunity to go and pursue their dreams. And so I think that was probably, the first time where our grandma had told us that before, but it was something that we really, this is an amazing opportunity and you don't want to squander it, and you want to utilize all the resources that are being given to you and know that all the people there are trying to help you be better and to utilize those resources. So I think when we had the opportunity to go to Shattuck when we were 15, so we moved away as freshmen and lived in the dorms for 4 years, that was probably, I think, the first time we really put that into practice.
You know, when we look at your story, we see a gold medal around the neck. We see your greatest highlight. But let me ask you, if you were to wear a medal to represent the greatest adversity you overcame off the ice, what would it be?
Off the ice, it definitely our battle with USA Hockey for gender and equity dispute that we went through from 2015 to 2017. That was a process that once we got out of college, and Joss and I were still playing with the national team, had played in 2 Olympics, but now we're not being supported by our college team. So now we're working full-time jobs while also training as full-time athletes. And it was, our days would start typically at we would wake up at 4:30 a.m. We'd go to work. We were working as strength and conditioning coaches, so we would be training people, and then we would have to train ourselves, and then we'd go to the rink and skate and then go back to work. So our days, we were working, 12 to 14 hour days, sometimes 16-hour days, depending on the schedule. And we realized really quickly that it should not be this hard to be an elite athlete. We shouldn't be working this hard to make ends meet, because we weren't being supported financially from USA Hockey. And so I think going through that dispute, and then a year going through, we threatened to boycott the 2017 World Championships that we were hosting, and to sign a contract 2 days before the tournament started, having one practice and then going on to win the World Championships. What we were able to do as a team, and to have gotten lawyers from Ballard Spar to represent us, to be able to do what we did as a group, not just the 23 of us, but basically the whole women's hockey community. I think the sporting world really rallied behind us. It really will change women's hockey for the future, and I think that's something that I'm most proud of.
Well, being a hockey player, a gold medalist is what you do, and now your who is being this incredible mom to your son. You already had so many kids from all over look up to you, but what's it like having a little boy look at you like you're his world and you can do no wrong now?
Well, I think any mom will say once you have a child, it completely changes your world, and it's the hardest thing, but it's the most rewarding thing that I'll ever do. And so being a mom, I feel very fortunate that after the Olympics, I was able to get pregnant right away, which when you get into that world, it doesn't happen like that for everybody. And so I feel very fortunate that happened, and I was able to have a very healthy baby boy right away. And he's, my husband and I just absolutely love him. I think we just shower him with love and kisses and hugs. He's probably at probably pretty soon won't love them so much, but it gives you a new reason why, it gives you a new motivation, and those motivations and passions might change, I think, for moms, and you might think you're going to think a certain way after having a baby, and you just really never know until you have them, and you might find something new that you want to pursue, or something new that you're passionate about. And so I think that's really opened my eyes to different things that I'm open to moving forward as well.
So I'm actually expecting in October, and just like you were saying that, you know, being a mom is the most rewarding job, but it's also one of the scariest. And, you know, I've been seeing that a lot lately with COVID and everything happening with George Floyd. I mean, how has a mom kind of changed the way you view everything in the world?
My husband and I have talked about it, and for us, it really boils down to just being fair, being a good person, and seeing equality for what it is, and in whatever aspect of life. I think we just want to teach at Shattuck. Our hockey coach always, he would tell this to everybody, to just be a good person. And as simple and as cliche as that might sound, like, that's what we want to teach our son to be. We want to teach him to be kind, to be generous, to give back, to speak up if he sees something that's unjust or unequal or whatever it may be. And I think if we can teach him those lessons, we'll set him up to be successful in life.
Well, you and Jocelyn, she's your twin sister, obviously. You guys have always been in each other's corners from birth, college, Olympic, pregnancy. Now you both have two beautiful little boys. I mean, what's it like going through this experience, but now as parents? Oh,
it's been really, especially in the beginning, it was really nice. I had Mickey in December, so right in the middle of winter, and we had a really cold winter when he was born, so he wasn't outside in a stroller until he was like 12 weeks old. So we were cooped up quite a bit. And so same with Jocelyn, but she had Nelson 6 weeks later. And so being able to go through the beginning stages of motherhood together, and to have someone to talk to who just understood everything that was going on, just made it a little bit easier. Because I can totally see how if you have a child and you're at home all day and you're just going through like the day-to-day of it, and yes, you love your child to death, but they don't speak back to you. So having that human contact of someone who's also an adult, or just anybody, I think that is extremely helpful for women. And so being able to go not just through motherhood, but pregnancy as well. I had a really tough pregnancy. I was sick every single day, multiple times a day. And so going through just everything with Jocelyn in that aspect is, as well as training, it just made it all just easier, just because you had someone that was just going through it and just understood everything you were going through. So it's been fun, and our boys, they spend every day together now, and so it just makes it a lot of fun.
Well, my nephew is actually going to be 8 months older than my son. And a lot of people have asked my sister and I, do you guys think you're going to parent the same? Because we've always kind of done everything together. Do you feel like you and Jocelyn have the same parenting styles, or do you tend to ask that a lot?
I can just tell when we're around our boys, I think we're very similar. I might be a little bit more like cautious, or my son's, he's pretty like coordinated for being 18 months old, and so he will climb on things, and he's a little daredevil, so I'm always like paying attention to him, just because I never know what he might do next, like jump off the back of the couch or something. So I'm a little bit more like always aware of where he is, but I would say in general we're pretty similar with how we handle things, and I would say it'll probably be that way as they grow up, so time will tell, I guess.
What do you think the hardest experience you've had since being a mom has been?
I would say the hardest thing was probably on a few trips that I've had to leave on, and he's had to stay home. So we actually, back in February is probably the hardest one. We were gone, my sister and I were gone with USA Hockey for our February series. We were gone for 2 weeks. My grandma also passed away at the time, so we were with the national team, and then we were also away from our boys for 2 weeks. And so it was a tough time for just being away, but then also losing our grandmother. And we we were in California, and then we had games up in Canada, and then we had to fly to the funeral and then flew back to be with the team for the last game. And so it was just a lot of craziness packed in 2 weeks. But I would say that was probably the toughest part, is saying goodbye to them, even though they're not going to remember it when you get older, when you're away from them, but saying goodbye to them when you know you're going to be gone for a week, I'd say those are probably the hardest moments.
Well, cheer for the one behind is an important piece of advice your mom has given to you. So now I ask you, for all the moms, soon-to-be moms, and women out there, what's the best piece of advice you could give to all of us when it comes to raising children and even each other?
I think, even though we're like, our baby, they're not even 2 yet, so there's still so much like that is unknown for us as parents. But I hope that I teach our son and my husband as well we want him to find something that he's passionate about, and I hope it's sports, but it could be something else. And hopefully we can find him something that he's passionate and wants to pursue in life, and help him learn how to work hard, to be accountable. If we can teach him all those life lessons that I think you can learn through sport, but also through many other different activities, but also being a kind person and doing all the right things to make you successful as a person as well. I think if we can teach him those things, I think we've done our job.
Well, Monique, thank you so much for joining me here today and inspiring all of us with your who and your do. So I thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.